Everyone knows the feeling of getting sucked into the endless vortex of bad news. It's like a black hole that draws people in, swallowing them whole. It's called doom scrolling, and it's become all too common in today's world. It's no wonder the name fits the behavior perfectly. From COVID-19 statistics to natural disasters and political upheaval, people's timelines are filled with negative news stories. But what people may not know is that the constant consumption of negative news can have harmful effects on one's mental health. Research has shown that it can lead to increased fear, stress, anxiety, and sadness. So if individuals want to protect their mental well-being, they need to start being mindful of what they consume and remember that balance is key. Conscious media consumption describes the practice of being mindful and intentional about what media people consume and how they consume it. According to Stephanie Harrison, a positive psychology researcher and founder of The New Happy, this involves paying attention to both what people consume and how they consume it. In today's world, it's easy to get caught up in mindless scrolling or binge watching as a way to distract oneself from difficult emotions or situations. However, Harrison argues that consuming media in this way can have negative consequences on people's mental health. By being conscious of what media they consume, people can minimize exposure to negative news or content that may trigger anxiety or stress. They can also seek out media that promotes positive messages and connects them with others. Additionally, being intentional about how they consume media can help them avoid multitasking or using it as a form of avoidance, which can lead to decreased attention span and increased feelings of restlessness. In essence, conscious media consumption means being present and intentional with one's media usage, allowing people to reap the benefits of positive media while minimizing the negative effects on their mental health. How to control and curate what is consumed and let go of negativity. To practice mindful social media use, it's important to be aware of why one is scrolling. Is one looking to connect with others and build relationships? Or are they trying to fill a void or distract themselves from difficult emotions? When people use social media to stay connected with loved ones, share things that matter to them, and engage in building new relationships, it can increase their well-being and sense of connection. However, when they use social media out of fear and anxiety, such as fearing that they may miss out on something or feeling disconnected if they're not using social media, it can take a toll on their mental health and well-being. Psychotherapist and behavior specialist Dr. Stephen Rosenberg stresses the importance of finding a balance when it comes to media consumption. While people have more ways than ever to stay connected to the internet, consuming a vast amount of information from various sources requires a mindful approach. People should ensure that the media they view is entertaining and helps them learn something. By being aware of their motivations and focusing on intentional and mindful consumption, they can protect their mental health and well-being while staying connected to the world around them. In a world where people are bombarded with content on a daily basis, it can be challenging to filter out the noise and find the type of content that truly resonates with them. However, aligning one's consumption with one's values and goals is crucial for maintaining one's overall well-being. Harrison's Learn, Connect, Joy rule offers a practical way to approach this process. By analyzing whether people are learning, connecting, or finding joy in the content they consume, they can make informed decisions about what to keep and what to let go. This approach not only helps them stay true to their values, but also ensures that they're investing their time and energy into content that enriches their lives. So if they find themselves feeling drained or uninspired after scrolling through their feed, perhaps it's time to reevaluate whose content one is following. In today's digital age, the internet has become an inevitable part of our lives. From social media to online news, there's an abundance of online content available at our fingertips. However, with this convenience comes a responsibility to set our own boundaries. As Harrison rightly suggests, certain content can be harmful, but what's harmful for one person may not be harmful for another. It's essential to identify our unique circumstances and figure out what upsets or challenges us. Dr. Rosenberg highlights the importance of setting goals and finding a balance between online and real-life activities. In essence, we have to take charge of our digital lives and view only the things that will enhance our well-being. Making small changes in how people use social media can have a big impact on their well-being. While it might seem overwhelming to navigate the endless rabbit hole of Instagram, taking conscious viewing one step at a time can make a difference. By consciously curating one's social media feed to include positive contributors and setting limits on its usage, people can become more mindful and feel good about their choices. According to Dr. Rosenberg and Harrison, practicing mindful habits when using social media can be as simple as setting a timer or checking it only at certain times of the day. These small changes can help them take control of their social media usage and positively impact their mental health. Practicing mindfulness is not just restricted to yoga mats or meditation sessions. It can be incorporated into daily life, even in the world of the internet. The principle of conscious consumption emphasizes intention and encourages people to take a step back before they dive into the digital world of distraction. By acknowledging one's emotions and pausing before reaching for one's phones or laptops, people give themselves a moment to check in with themselves. Just like in meditation, this pause can help people recognize their thoughts and feelings, redirect their focus, and regain control of their attention. By applying mindfulness to our online experiences, people can craft a more intentional and fulfilling life, both online and off. In a world where social media and news platforms can be overwhelming and inundated with negative content, it's important to be mindful and intentional about curating our media consumption. Here are some realistic ways to break the chain of negativity. Step 1. Be cautious and conscious of how much bad media you are consuming so that you can cut out or minimize the toxicity. It's crucial to be aware of the kind of media people are consuming and how it affects them. One way to do this is to monitor one's reactions to certain content. For example, if someone finds themselves feeling anxious or upset after reading the news, they may want to limit their exposure to those topics. They can also choose to unfollow or mute accounts that consistently share negative or triggering content. This can be challenging, especially if they feel that they need to stay informed about current events, but setting boundaries is essential for one's mental health. Another way to limit one's exposure to negative media is to take a break from social media altogether. This could mean deleting apps for a certain amount of time, or simply limiting the amount of time one spends on social media each day. By doing this, people give themselves the opportunity to disconnect and focus on other activities that bring them joy and positivity. Step 2. Introspect. Ask your inner circle for recommendations, as this will help you prioritize the media you enjoy and build positivity in your life. It's easy to get caught up in the endless scroll of social media, but it's important to be intentional about the kind of media one consumes. One way to do this is to reflect on one's values and priorities and seek out media that aligns with them. For example, if someone values mental health and wellness, They can follow accounts that share positive affirmations, self-care tips, and resources for managing stress and anxiety. Another way to curate one's media consumption is to ask one's inner circle for recommendations. Friends and family members can be a great resource for finding new podcasts, books, and TV shows that bring joy and positivity. By prioritizing the media one enjoys, people can build a feed that's filled with content that aligns with their values and goals. Step 3. Set time limits on apps to minimize your media consumption. Setting time limits on social media apps is another way to break the chain of negativity. People can use the settings on their phones to limit the amount of time they spend on social media each day. This can help them be more mindful about the time they spend online and ensure that they are not consuming too much negative content. They can also use apps that track their screen time and give them reminders to take breaks and disconnect. Above all, it's important to remember that progress is not linear and takes time. Curating one's media consumption is a process, and it may take time to find the right balance that works for everyone. It's okay to make mistakes and slip up, but it's important to keep trying and be intentional about the media one consumes. By taking small steps each day, people can build a feed that is filled with positivity and joy. For example, let's say someone's trying to curate their social media feed to focus on mental health and wellness. They can start by unfollowing accounts that constantly share triggering or negative content. They can also seek out accounts that share positive affirmations, self-care tips, and resources for managing stress and anxiety. They can ask their friends and family members for recommendations for podcasts, books, and TV shows that focus on mental health and wellness. People can also set time limits on social media apps to ensure they're not spending too much time online. For example, we could set a limit of 30 minutes per day on Instagram. In addition to setting time limits, it's important to be mindful of when and how people use social media. For example, people can designate specific times of the day when they check their feeds, and avoid using social media while they're engaged in other activities like work or spending time with friends and family. In conclusion, media consumption plays a significant role in one's mental health and well-being. The chain of negativity can be broken by being cautious and conscious of the media people consume, prioritizing positivity in one's feeds, and setting time limits on apps. By taking these steps, people can build a healthier media diet and promote a more positive and fulfilling life. This has been The Art of Letting Go. Stop overthinking, stop negative spirals, and find emotional freedom. Written by Nick Trenton, narrated by Russell Newton. Copyright 2023 by Nick Trenton. Production copyright by Nick Trenton.